Welcome to college basketball on the ACC Network from Raleigh, North Carolina. The NC State Wolfpack getting set to host the Louisville Cardinals in the third conference game of the season for both teams. And welcome everyone inside PNC Arena. Mike Corey alongside Dan Bonner. Good to be with you. Let's start with Louisville. They began the season 0-9. They've won 2 of the last 3, Dan. But what about NC State? 10-3. Assess the season they've had up to this point.
They've had a solid season up to this point. They won 10 of 11 in the non-conference schedule. They've stumbled twice in the ACC. It's nothing but Atlantic Coast Conference from here on in. They got to get this one tonight to get themselves on a roll.
All right, how about DJ Burns? How important is he to this Wolfpack team?
Well, he's very important to the Wolfpack team. He's the guy who's going to play him in the post. And, I mean, he is a different kind of post player. He's not an above-the-basket guy, but he's very clever with the basketball. He's got good hands and good feet. He's got nice little jump shots. He's got spin moves. And he's got a great personality. And he's going to need that personality and those skills tonight.
Just about ready for the opening tip here from NC State. Our officials tonight, Roger Ayers, Bert Smith, and Clarence Armstrong.
And this is going to be an interesting matchup. Sidney Curry for Louisville, 6'8", 270. We talked about Burns, 6'9", 275. Don't often have two guys that big going against one another in the post. This is a guards game anymore. Louisville starts in the man-to-man.
Terquavian Smith. He's had a special season, 0 for NC State, averaging over 18 points a game. They get it into Burns right from the start. And he's done a lot of that so far this season.
Nice soft touch, but you see Burns. Smith tries to get that one, but knocks it out of bounds. Burns, he had a chance to go right to the basket, but he waited and he looks for his teammates. And again, he's got that little spin moves and he's got some conditioning issues. At 275, he can't play. He can't sprint up and down for 5 or 6 minutes at a time, but when he's in there, he's really good.
You just saw the starting 5 for the Cardinals. The key man, number 3, just set the screen and now has the ball. L. Ellis, a little bit of a homecoming for him from Durham, North Carolina.
He's been a do-everything guy for Louisville.
They work it into Sidney Curry in the post. Curry with a wild runner, not there. Rebound by Jack Clark. Here's your starting 5 for the Wolfpack tonight.
That was good defense by Burns that time.
Clark swings it to the corner. It's Morcell for 3.
I mean, you can count that one. When Morcell has that much time and distance, particularly from the corner, he is going to miss very few of them, and he's a very high percentage three-point shooter anyway.
Danny shooting 47% from three-point range this season. The senior from Fort Washington, Maryland, makes it 5-0 NC State. And Kevin Keats in his 6th season now. And like you said at the top of the broadcast, 0-2 to start in conference play, but it's so deceiving the way this group has played. They've been right in every single game. I think a very dangerous team as you get into conference play here.
Oh, absolutely. There's no question about it. I mean, they feel like they had a chance to steal one at Miami, and that would have been a great win, but they didn't get it. And then they didn't feel like they played very well against Pitt, but Pitt is a much improved team.
Here's James for 3. Offensive rebound and the easy bucket for Brandon Huntley Hatfield to get Louisville in the scoring column tonight.
That's going to frustrate Kevin Keats a little bit. Really good defensive job. Forced a very tough shot, but couldn't get the rebound.
How about the combination here of Smith and Joyner? As you were saying before we came on the air, and how those two have to have solid games together. Driving in is Morcell, got a shot blocked.
You see Louisville coming out and trying to trap Joyner and Smith, make them give up the ball, make somebody else handle it.
Here's Curry, powers his way inside for the Cardinals.
So far, we've seen both teams go inside to their big guys.
Now, you talked about it, how important that matchup's going to be here tonight. DJ Burns and Sid Curry for Louisville. Here's a long 3 in the way. Clark not there. And rebounded by Brandon Huntley Hatfield.
Now, Louisville's not looking to push necessarily in a racehorse style, but they'd like to get it down and get it something going before the defense can get set.
First foul of the night on Casey Morcell as you look at Kenny Payne taking over. And when we talked to him, the Louisville graduate from back in 2003 just means a little bit more, right? He's here for the long haul, trying to build this program back up to, what he remembered when he was here and the success they've had over the years. And it's going to take a little bit of time. It's
going to take a little bit of time, but they have great facilities at Louisville, and he's got a solid coaching staff. And now that the cloud of potential NCAA tournament ban has been lifted, then they're going to have a little bit more success. I'm confident in their recruiting.
Got one of the greats in Danny Manning on the sideline with Nolan Smith and Josh Jamison, the staff you're talking about for Louisville.
And here's Louisville showing some pressure. And what they're trying to do there is just run a little bit of time off that shot clock.
Curry with 1 of 2 at the line for the Cardinals has tied the game, and now a block inside by Mike James on the drive from Smith.
Well, James is a very hard worker. He's a really competitive guy, and they're thinking that he can stay in front of Terquavion Smith. Not all the time, but he did that time. I think Roger Ayers just said, just play ball, let's not be talking.
Back into Smith, jumper, no. Rebound Withers. Jalen Withers. And here's Ellis to set things up. That's when they've kind of gotten a little bit of a danger zone there, Dan, right? Kind of jumping in midair and not knowing sometimes where they want to go with the ball. Here's a step out on the sideline, but we've seen that a lot this year from Ellis.
Well, Ellis is trying to do an awful lot of things, and there's a big load on his shoulders. Here's what we're talking about. NC State's defense has forced almost 15 turnovers a game, almost 10 of them steals, and Louisville's a team that struggles turning the ball over. Fortunate on that occasion that NC State did not get an opportunity for a run out.
Last game for Louisville, they actually had the fewest turnovers of the season with 10 in a 75-67 loss to Lipscomb. Here's Burns, kicks it to the corner. Clark. Oh, wow. Clark, no. Burns rejected again inside. Second block of the night for James.
That's really good recovery by Louisville because Burns, that's what he wants to do. He gets the ball down there. They basically clear the side for him, and if somebody comes to help, he's a very good passer.
Ellis directing traffic here. 4 minutes gone by. He bombs up a 3, and he's got it. And Louisville has the lead 8-5. And they're on an 8-0 run after trailing 5-0 to start.
On that high screen, particularly when Burns is the guy who's got to help, Ellis is going to have an opening.
Jarkel Joyner for NC State. Almost a steal. Smith puts up a 3. A little short, rebounded by Curry.
Now Smith is a guy, he can miss a couple, Mike, but I'm telling you, he can make 8 in a row.
Oh, yes. Ellis, bumped by Burns, and is fouled. And it takes us to our first timeout of the night. So it was 5-0 NC State, and the Cardinals have come back. Ellis, top player, knocking down a 3 for the lead. We'll be back to Raleigh right after this. Back in Raleigh, Louisville's on top 8-5. Dan, you and I were down at Florida State in the Louisville loss to the Seminoles 75-53. But since then, they've come on now a little bit. Thanks a lot to this guy.
Well, Ellis, he's their do-everything guy. Leads them in scoring, leads them in assists. And that 30 points and 10 assists, that's the first time anybody from Louisville's done that since Reese Gaines did it 20 years ago.
And there's his mom, Tasha, and brother Manny in the house here tonight. 20 family and friends here to watch Ellis, who's from Durham, North Carolina. Went to Tallahassee Community College. He's coming off that 24-point effort the other night. So those are the numbers over the last 3 games after that Florida State loss, in which Louisville's now won 2 of the last 3.
Well, Ellis is a very quick player, obviously. He can get himself into the lane. He can make a 3-point shot. He can create for other people, but there's a big load on him trying to score. Louisville struggles to score. He's got 4 points in the game now.
Well, he played all 40 minutes in the last game, too. They need him out there. 9-5, Cardinals on top.
And the Wolfpack have missed their last 7 shots.
And a steal. And that's a travel. Yeah, it's a good call there by Bert Smith. He was all over it.
Now see, That's a turnover, but it's not a turnover that really hurts Louisville in terms of giving up an easy opportunity. It hurts them in terms of losing a possession, and they need all the possessions they can get.
Well, that's right. I mean, that could potentially be a big swing there. You know, you got one, you got a steal, you know, which has been tough sledding for them. Usually they are the one turning it over, so.
Terquavion Smith comes off a screen right here. He's double teamed.
Knocked away again. Stolen by Brandon Huntley Hatfield coming from behind. Withers takes it strong. And Clark's got the rebound.
Now this is where NC State, if they get an outlet, they like to go.
Nice jumper from Jarkel Joyner.
Now that's the way they want to play. They're not going to go every single time, but if they can get a good outlet or a steal, they can get up the court as quickly as anybody in this league.
Trainer on the jumper, J.J. Trainer. Tracked out by Clark and got it to Joyner. That's what you told me earlier tonight before we came on. It's somewhat of a misconception that that's all they want to do is run and gun. Not all the time. NC State, another nice block inside. That's the third block tonight. That's the first by Ellis.
Well, and the interesting thing there is that North Carolina State, they want to attack. And so you see Joyner and Smith driving the ball hard. He actually lost his balance, didn't really get the lift that he was looking for. Burns has gone out, and so has Clark.
Ernest Ross is in the first time tonight. And Ebenezer Duwana.
Well, neither Ross nor Duwana are the kind of offensive players these guys just went out of the game. And there's Smith missing another one. Ooh, that's some catch. Just dropped it, though. He tried to dribble it and let it go.
It was Withers down there that time. Joyner kicks it to the corner, wide open, a three, in and out that time from Ross. Offensive rebound, Morcell. We've had some chances here.
Well, I think you can live with Ross shooting that three.
0 for 9 now on the season, to your point.
Both teams have been in the man-to-man. Louisville, we say, is trying to double-team Smith when he's coming off the screen.
It's a nice crossover from Withers. Stays with it, blocked inside. Nice job there by Duwana, and it's going to be Wolfpack possession.
Well, again, Louisville getting to the offensive boards. They're not noted for their ability to rebound the ball offensively. You know, on the season, they are a minus 20, minus 17 really coming in for offensive rebounds, but they've done a nice job being aggressive today.
They've only out-rebounded 4 of their opponents all season, and 3 of those 4 were in the first 3 games of the year.
Well, it's hard to have a lot of really good numbers in that vein when your record's 2-10. But that doesn't mean they're not capable.
Foul line jumper. And Duwana is tracked out again by Morcell.
See, that's a rebound you have to have. Duwana's a guy who's not a jump shooter, so it's a nice job to force him to shoot the jump shot.
Smith is hacked from behind by Withers.
Oh, now what's going on? That's a hard foul, but we'll see if they're going to do anything about that.
Yeah, Clarence Armstrong kind of got right in there. One of our officials in the middle said, no, guys. And it's a hard foul by Withers. And Smith just kind of trying to push him off, and then...
Wait, Smith handed him the ball.
Right.
Withers handed it right back. Okay, all right, so the officials called a double technical, one on Terquavion Smith and the other on Withers. All right, and this is a new rule this year. They're going to shoot the common foul, and with the double technicals, there's not going to be any shots there.
So one more here for Smith. Next Friday afternoon, college basketball triple header beginning with this game, Pittsburgh and North Carolina. Starts at noon Eastern, Friday, December 30th, right here on the ACC Network and on the ESPN app. Pittsburgh with the win on Tuesday at Syracuse. I was there for that one. And then North Carolina has now won 4 in a row.
But North Carolina, they've recovered after losing 4 in a row. But I'm telling you, the Pitt Panthers are one of the surprise teams in the ACC. They have had a solid non-conference season, much better than they've been having recently. They've got guys who can score. They're an interesting-looking team.
Driving to the hole is Kamari Lands, and he scores it for Louisville. They lead it 11-8.
Lands, he does not have any problems on the offensive end. He struggles sometimes on the defensive end of the court, but you've got to get in front of him because he'll go all the way.
Duana, nice little hook.
Again, they're not looking for a lot of offense from Duana, but they would much rather see him in there. That's only his 8th shot of the season.
Ellis slashes through, trying a little alley-oop there to Roosevelt Wheeler.
But you shoot that one. And if you miss it, your big guy is there in position for the rebound. But I think he confused Wheeler with that shot. And there's 0 for 10 now for the year for Ross, shooting threes. Maybe he should stop it.
Ellis, wild one, just inside three-point land, doesn't go. It's tracked down by NC State, and Ross. There's Joyner again. Fall though, not there from Duana.
NC State has shot the ball very poorly, but they only trail by 1.
That's the thing. 4 of 19 from the field so far. Louisville is 4 for 11. And we've got a timeout. 11-11 to go in this first half. 1-point game in this ACC matchup tonight from NC State. Back here at NC State, Louisville just completed the Week of Giving with their 12th annual Kyle's Corner Toy Drive, led by former Cardinal star Kyle Couric. They had a food drive as well, winter clothes drive. They spanned that out over 3 home games. And the toy drive, great to see. Collection in association with Kyle's Corner for Kids, who's a former Cardinal, now playing overseas.
That's great that the basketball players get involved in that, get involved in community activities, particularly at this time of the year.
Cardinals by 1. 9 minutes gone by here in the first half. Shot clock down to 4. 3 ball on the way, count it for Louisville and Hersey Miller.
Well, Miller's a guy who hasn't played a lot recently. He was the backup point guard early in the year, and that's only his 3rd three-point made on the season.
Burns down the lane for the bucket.
Most balls shot like that would bounce off, but that one sort of hit the rim and died and then trickled in. He's got a really nice touch.
Yeah, he's been getting the bounces this year, though, hasn't he? Here's a foul. High. Going to be on Jarkel Joyner, his first. Had a good start early, and what's been going on here? 3 of 18 since 2 for 10.
Right, and that 3 of 18 looks a lot better because it was 2 of 17. Burns just made that basket. The game is very difficult when the ball's not going in the goal, and it's not going in the goal for North Carolina State. Part of it has to do with the Louisville defense, though.
Louisville's got 4 blocks in this game. Here's a steal. L.J. Thomas that gets it inside for Smith.
And that's the kind of turnover that's been killing Louisville. Those are the things that Tom Izzo refers to as turnovers for touchdowns.
Yep, that's what we're talking about right there, and that's been tough for them. They've averaged 14.8 a game, as you see. Last game they had 10. That was the fewest. Every other game, 13 or more. Halfway through the first half, we're tied at 14.
Pack trying to pick up the defensive pressure.
Shot clock again down to 3. Another 3, and that goes in again. Kamari Lands drains it this time.
Now Lands, we're talking about Ross for North Carolina State not being a very good three-point shooter, but Lands, he is a high-volume guy. He's not a very high percentage, but that was a really nice job by him stepping inside away from that pressure.
There's a long 3 from Clark on the other end. That doesn't go, and it's tapped out to Mike James.
Now, long threes early in the shot clock. I think Joyner and Smith have to be taking those. Otherwise, I think they'll be looking inside.
Brandon Huntley Hatfield over Clark off the window. 5-point Louisville lead. It's their largest so far here in the first half.
Huntley Hatfield 6'10", 6'11". He's got a couple of inches on Clark on the inside. That's a nice job to get the ball in the low post.
Here's Burns again, battling inside, and the left-hander scores it again.
You're afraid to go trap him. He's got 6 points now because he's such a good passer.
Averages 8.8 a game. Shooting 55% from the field. So far 3 of 4 tonight. Here's Miller. Again, shot clock is winding down. They've hit a lot. The last 2 late three-pointers. Can they do it again? Lands. Clark with a good box out, but it's off of Thomas, out of bounds. It's going to stay with Louisville. And we got a little gift for you on Christmas morning, starting at 7 a.m. Eastern, holiday special, all ACC, right here on the ACC Network. Runs every hour through 2 o'clock. Coming up on Sunday at 7 a.m. Eastern. Lance for Curry. Nice.
Again, Burns went to help out defensively, and he just couldn't get back to Curry quick enough. And nobody else got there.
Seeing good energy here. Good teamwork by Louisville and a good start for them.
They're playing very hard.
Smith slashes through, blocked and fouled by Curry underneath. That'll be his first foul of the game. It takes us to a timeout. Cardinals off to a great start here. They lead it by 5 on the road. 7:48 remaining first half. Back in a moment. Mike Horry and Dan Bonner back with you here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Telltale numbers here for Louisville with their record at 2-10. There's your wins, there's your losses, and you can see why.
Well, and the turnover numbers aren't up there, but the turnovers haven't really hurt them badly today. But the shooting does. When you make baskets, it really helps you. They're shooting 60% from beyond the arc in the game so far today, and that has been a big factor.
3 of 5 from three-point range, as you said, 50% overall. We're tracking this here tonight with the turnovers 5. They've had 3 runouts, NC State, off of those 5 turnovers, but it's led to only 2 points. That was one of your keys. And how about the rebounding as well? 15-10 in favor of the Cardinals here.
And Louisville is a team that's not a great rebounding team, but they already have 4 second-chance points tonight. So as you said, going to break, Mike, a really good start here for Louisville.
Well, and that's what they need, because obviously they're not a team that's built to be able to come back a lot from these 15, 20-point deficits, which they've kind of faced a lot so far this season.
That's a confidence thing, too. You play well, the ball goes in the basket, everybody plays harder, they tighten it up on the defensive end.
Brandon Huntley Hatfield looking for the cutter. It's Lands. It's a nice feed, and Lands, no foul. Curry's got the offensive rebound. Oh, offensive.
Well, again, you get a second chance opportunity here. Burns goes for the block, so he's not available to block out. And it's called an offensive foul. On a rebound,
yeah.
But on that rebound, there isn't considered to be a secondary defender.
Well, and this is big for Louisville because
he was in the restricted area, but he wasn't a secondary defender.
Now Curry's got 2 fouls for Louisville, and Withers has 2 fouls. So big right there. It's Burns. That hook is working once again here tonight. Already at his average almost with 8.8 points a game. He's got 8 so far here in this one.
Yeah, but since he's played more with Mahorchitz being out with an injury, his numbers have been much higher than that.
Yep.
So he's been getting about 14, 16 points a game since he's become a regular.
You're right. Last game he had 18. Here's Ellis on the drive. Not there. And Joyner gets it up from Morcell, who launches a 3. Got it.
That was an interesting fast break because Morcell had to wait for the ball.
And NC State has the lead, 22-21.
Well, now, if you're Louisville here, you just have to be calm about things and run your stuff and attack the basket.
First lead since...
But the shot clock's running down again.
It's happened multiple times here tonight. Here's Landis. Pulls back. No. Burns.
It took them too long to get into their stuff that time.
Yeah, it was Joyner and Burns who kind of came down with it together. Here's Morsell for three again. Look out. You said it about Morsell, Dan. He's 3 for 3 from three-point range.
If he's got time, and he had time that time, he is deadly, playing as well as he has in his college career. 4-point lead for the Pack.
When this guy gets going, Dan, look out, right? 3 for 3, 9 points already here for the Pack.
A lot of this has to do with extra opportunity, more opportunity this year, but he worked hard in the offseason. He really prepared himself for this. Even though it's early, leading the ACC in three-point field goal percentage is an accomplishment. And he continues to be a very good defender. And they've needed his three-point shooting tonight because neither Smith nor Joyner have really gotten untracked yet.
Smith's got 4 points. Joyner's got 2. You're right. It's been Morsell and Burns. 9 and 8 respectively. 25-21 NC State. Crucial point here this first half, really, if you're Louisville, right? They were up 21-15. It's a 10-0 run.
And that token pressure by North Carolina State has forced some time off the clock. There's 7 seconds left on the shot clock, and the ball's at half court.
This is like the 6th time that the shot clock has gone down inside of 3, and they've had to put something up. And that time it was Brandon Huntley Hatfield who misses.
Well, it's really hard to run your offense when you start with 7 seconds.
Burns. Feed it to Joyner. It's knocked out. Stays with the Wolfpack.
I said Burns is a willing passer, but he's also an adventurous passer. There are some times where he tries to squeeze it in places where there's not very much room.
Big South Player of the Year last year at Winthrop. Out of Rock Hill, South Carolina. Smith with the Burns screen in front for some space. Misses. Rebound by Huntley Hatfield.
And, you know, with Smith, those are the kind of shots he makes. So you don't mind that one.
He's 1 for 6 so far tonight. Ellis back up for James. And that's another travel.
Well, right at the moment, you're not getting a lot of player movement by Louisville. There's a lot of drives to the basket, but the person who's driving is the only person moving for the Cards.
6 turnovers, but only 2 points off of those 6 turnovers by NC State. Cardinals hanging right in here. Down 4, though.
Well, again, it's a big last 4 minutes of the half.
It is.
For Louisville.
Joyner. No. Got his hand on the offensive rebound.
He's got to figure out how to get out of there.
He does. Burns, double team comes down on him quickly. Withers along with Roosevelt Wheeler for Louisville. Burns gets it stripped. On the deck, Roosevelt Wheeler able to come up with it. Ellis now runs. Ellis, foul.
Well, that is the first time they've elected to trap Burns, and it was a great trap. I thought he was going to get out of it, but no.
Fouls on Smith. Free throws when we come back with NC State up 4. But a good combination here for Casey Morsell and DJ Burns Jr. so far tonight for NC State as they lead by 4.
Well, the interesting thing, those are the only 2 guys for the Wolfpack who have scored more than 1 basket. Smith only has 1 basket. Joyner only has 1 basket, which is as many baskets as Ebenezer Dewana has.
Right. Clark's 0 for 3. Ross is 0 for 2.
And if you're Louisville and you end up losing this game, you're going to look back on this and you're going to see this as a missed opportunity. With Smith and Joyner just not really producing yet, you might have missed a bit of a chance to get a big lead here.
Ellis at the free throw line. He's got 5. Who else is going to kind of step up for this Louisville team? His mother Tasha looking on here. You know, he's the one that dominates, averaging over 17 points a game, but they're going to need help.
Well, Huntley Hatfield is a guy who I think can produce on the inside. You know, we saw him operate pretty effectively against Clark earlier, but they haven't gone back to that. Now Louisville's gone to a little zone. 1-2-2 look.
Shot clock down to 6. Take away. Ellis behind the back. What a feed. James. Pretty play. 25 all here.
That's why you get back in the game. You get going with defense. And lots of times you play a zone because you're trying to cut down on the other guy's penetration.
First assist of the night for Ellis. They try to get it into Burns. Wheeler knocked it away for the moment. Also down there was Jalen Withers.
That's 2 bad passes trying to get it inside the zone.
Ellis. No, they're going to call a traveling violation. Going to get tripped.
Well, they can't make the pass inside, and Ellis looking the entire time. That's not a fancy pass. That's the only pass he can make in that situation. It wasn't like a Harlem Globetrotters kind of pass because it wasn't perfect.
Right. But yeah, you're right. That was the angle that he needed to have, and he used it effectively.
But it was good enough. Here we're talking about North Carolina State maybe getting some runouts, but Louisville has gotten a couple of runout opportunities.
They have.
Nice response. It looked like the momentum had shifted heavily in favor of North Carolina State.
It was a 9-0 run. Yep, and they answered it. Missing on the shot. Clark on the rebound, and he had it for the moment. It got taken away after the initial shot from L.J. Thomas. Now Louisville's got a chance to go back in front with 2.5 to go in the first half. Well, they throw it away.
Well, that's a missed opportunity because Joyner had a mismatch inside against Huntley Hatfield, and Huntley Hatfield was desperately calling for the ball, but they couldn't get it to him. Kevin Keats has to be unhappy. That's 8 turnovers now for the Pack.
Joyner. There's a backup for Clark, and now here's Thomas. Clark. Got it.
That's a really good job. Moving the ball around the perimeter, forcing the zone to react, and then passing it inside. You can't beat a zone just by passing around the outside. It has to go in, but that's the first really effective interior pass the Pack has made against that zone.
And it gives them a chance to set up that press here. And now Louisville. Another turnover. Offensive foul.
Well, Lands just got going too fast right there. Kenny Payne is up telling him you got to pass the ball early. The pass needs to be made when he gets to the free throw line, and it needs to be a jump stop. The deeper you go into that lane, the bigger the risk that you're going to get a charge call.
And that was Morcell, who had positioning there for NC State to take the charge.
And we mentioned Morcell. He's got the reputation as being an outstanding defensive player.
Joyner, some traffic, back to Clark for the 3 ball, and rebounded by Wheeler. Ellis works it in for Brandon Huntley Hatfield. That's knocked around, and Burns has it. And here come the Wolfpack. Joyner on the run. Takes it in, too strong.
Pretty good defense getting back.
Ellis against Morcell. Morcell got a piece of it.
You can't play better defense than that.
Up to Thomas. He's got Burns. Thomas spinning. And we got a foul on Mike James for Louisville. That's his first.
Watch Morcell move his feet, plants his feet, then goes straight up in the air and gets the blocked shot. And they didn't get a basket here. Thomas really has to give this up. I think he lost control of the ball. You have to drop that back for Burns and you get an easy layup.
Hey, you said it about Morcell, though, right? He takes the charge, he holds his ground, he goes straight up, gets a block. He's knocked down 3 3-pointers. Very well-rounded game so far for him tonight.
Now, the key to that defensive play he just made was moving his feet and getting his feet established.
One more free throw for Thomas. ACC PM with Mark Packer, Trey Boston, and Taylor Tenenbaum. The latest from around the conference coming up tomorrow, 4 o'clock Eastern. and weekdays at 4 Eastern right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app.
So now here's that pressure again, a little 1-2-2. And they're not really looking to steal the ball as much as they are to make Louisville run time off that shot clock. So they get it across. They haven't started their offense yet. They're at half court, and there's 15 seconds left on the shot clock.
Yep, you've said it, and it's gone down numerous times tonight. Late in the clock, Ellis kicks it to the far corner. Brendan Huntley, Hatfield, that's a big-time three. It ties the game. 32 seconds remaining, 4-second differential shot clock, game clock. That's
a good shot, and he's not a great three-point shooter. He's got to be careful there. As he was running up the court, he had something to say to the NC State bench. You don't want to get a technical foul there.
Now, we've had a little bit of chippiness so far throughout this first half, multiple occasions. Here's Joyner for three. That's good. Jarkel Joyner gets it right back for the Wolfpack. He's got 5.
Suddenly we have a little bit of flow to the game.
Ellis, 3 on the clock, takes it in. He's blocked by Burns, and that's going to end the half. We got a good one here tonight, Dan.
It's very interesting. Each team has done some really good things. It's a very interesting ball game.
NC State by 3 at the break. Morcell leads all scorers with 9 points, 31-28. Time now for the halftime report. Let's go to my man Dallin Cuff and Carlos Boozer in the studio. Guys, it's all you.
Thank you, Corey. 31-28, NC State up on Louisville right now at the halftime. Welcome into the ACC Network studio, halftime report. That's my man Carlos Boozer, sweet lid. I'm Dallin Cuff. Booze, Louisville, they're 2-10, much maligned, but they are battling for their first ACC win here. What have you seen?
Yeah, this is the best half I've seen them play all season. They're engaged, they're attacking, they're shooting over 60% from the 3. I think they're 4 for 6 from the line. They're playing really good defense. NC State has a 3-point lead despite shooting under 35% from the floor. This is the best I've seen Louisville play in the first half.
Yeah, Louisville's changing defenses has been effective. As you mentioned, the 66% from the 3-point line. And this team really holding Jarkel Joyner and Terquavion Smith to well below their season average. They combine for 34 points a game. They both are right now combined for 9 points in this game. When you look at NC State, they waited that little 10-0 spurt to make it 25-21. I thought they were going to pull away. Louisville did come back. What have you liked, though, from NC State?
Yeah, they're poised, right? They get down by a lot. You know, Louisville's throwing a couple 2-3 zones at them. Then NC State goes into like a 1-2-2 full court press, and they're poised. So you're not seeing Terquavion Smith get buckets, but Morcell has been there terrific defensively and also knocking down shots on the other end. They do a good job of staying poised. Obviously, Keats has got them ready for this matchup. You kind of walk into a Louisville game like, oh, these guys haven't won a game in the conference, but it's the ACC, baby. You got to bring it every single night.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. They were heavy favorites tonight. Now they're only up 3 here. They have turned over Louisville 9 times, though. Do you expect Keats to extend more pressure? What do you think that Wolfpack need to do to extend this lead and maybe even early on in the half?
Yeah, I would keep it. I would keep the 1-2-2 on, make them use up some of that clock, see if they prepared for it or not, and make them take tough shots. They got very good defenders. They got quick guards, obviously. We've been talking about their guard play all season over there in the Wolfpack. So I would extend the defense, keep that going a little bit, make them take tough shots, and then I would play faster. I think NC State's got a lot of good guard play. They can knock down shots. They can also get to the free throw line. I would play a little quicker on offense.
Yeah, the more possessions in this game, the more talented team, which is the Wolfpack in this game, usually wins out. So we'll see if they can throttle that thing up here in the second half. In the ACC Network halftime report, right now NC State up 3 over Louisville, but nifty passing, throwing it down. Well done there by Mike James. Who? Wasn't the prettiest first half for NC State as a team, but Casey Morcell was lighting it up. 3 for 3 from deep. They're up by 3. Can they finish things off in Raleigh? Second half next.
Christmas tree straight to our NC State leads it at the half, 31-28 over Louisville. Welcome back inside PNC Arena, everyone. Mike Corey and Dan Bonner. First half thoughts here in a pretty close game we've had so far.
It's a very close game. I'm very impressed with the way Louisville has come out and how hard they have played. North Carolina State's made a couple runs. Casey Morcell is 3 for 3 from beyond the three-point arc. The rest of the team 1 for 9. Louisville has generated some turnovers and created some easy baskets off the turnovers, and that's something for a team that's struggling you need to do. And we talked about DJ Burns before the game, and this guy, he just has such a soft touch and the ability to play on the inside. He's hard to double team. He uses that big body very effectively. He and Morcell have scored 17 of the 31 points.
And there you see some of the numbers as well. Louisville has done a really nice job here tonight rebounding the ball. The advantage 20-16 there. Trying to keep turnovers down, but just not trying to give up points off of those turnovers, and that's been pretty good so far. NC State has not been able to get too much and capitalize on those 9 turnovers. The second half is underway. Big game for both teams here tonight. Third conference game. Both teams 0-2 to start. Louisville trying to get their legs underneath them. They've won 2 of the last 3. Inside Curry, and he scores for the Cardinals. He's got 7.
And that's what North Carolina State has been doing to Louisville. That time Louisville got the ball inside to Curry. They basically cleared the side. Curry went one-on-one.
Joyner gets the step on Ellis.
Joyner just has that explosive first step. He's got 7 points now. He and Smith were relatively quiet in the first half. Smith sat out the last couple of minutes with 2 fouls.
That combination has scored a total of 11 points so far. 4 of 13 from the field. Whistle and a foul as Withers took it in for Louisville.
DJ Burns trying to help the officials, suggesting that possibly that was a traveling violation. See, Burns is not going to jump up and help on that screen. And Withers really gets lucky right here because Morcell was standing right there and came very close to tying that ball up.
They call the foul on Morcell, who's got 2 now. Smith has 2 for NC State. At the line, Withers, he also has 2 personal fouls for Louisville. They got Curry also with 2. They picked him up early in that first half. 1 of 2 for Withers. We got a 2-point game.
Actually, I think that Kevin Keats would rather have that foul be on Morcell in that situation than Burns.
Smith feeds it to a wide open Clark.
Again, Clark can make the 3, but he's not a high percentage 3-point shooter. And if you can get Smith to give up the ball and Clark to shoot a 3, then that's okay.
He had an opportunity to track his own rebound down right there. And he just kind of stood there. And Mike James got it for Louisville.
Well, maybe if your shooting percentage is 23% from 3, maybe you take that ball and you get closer to the basket.
Ellis working on Clark. Shot clock down to 5.
That's a great job by Clark.
James, that's a travel. And NC State's forced them into a couple of those tonight as well.
That's 10 turnovers now for Louisville, but that was all created by Clark at 6'8", moving his feet very effectively and preventing a very quick guard in L. Ellis to get around it. Clark has only scored 2 points tonight, but he's done a nice job on the boards, and that was a very good defensive play.
Smith trying to work by James for the Wolfpack. A little bit too strong on the runner. The tip, no. Again, and it's into the hands of Brandon Huntley Hatfield. Ellis quickly on the run, and he's fouled.
But Joyner does a nice job getting back here. He's in good position. He gets called for the foul because he drops that arm down. If he just keeps both of his hands in the air, then that's not going to be a foul.
Talked to Ellis before the game here tonight. There's his family in the stands with 20 family members, friends here. There's his mom, Tasha, and the right brother, Manny. Said after basketball, whatever that is, of course, wants to get to the next level, of course, and wants to give back, coaching, mentoring, training. He's been around the game his whole life, and that's what he wants to continue to do. Here tonight, he has tied the game at 33 with a team-high 8 points.
Could be a rough go for North Carolina State unless this guy gets going, and that's how he gets going. I'm telling you, once that first one goes down, he can make 6 in a row.
Smith, 1 for 4 now from 3-point range, 7 points. 36-33, back to Ellis.
Nice job by Burns.
Curry
Boy, Burns didn't let Ellis get by, and that allowed Smith to recover.
Morcell from deep. And Burns gets the offensive rebound. Back to Smith for another three-pointer. What did you just say?
You know, he'll miss a lot, but he is going to be undeterred.
This is the largest lead of the night by either team, 6 points.
This is where, if you're Louisville, you've got to be really tough here with the ball and get yourself a good shot. Shot clock running down again.
5 to shoot. Ellis is deep. He recognizes it, got it knocked out of his hands, taps it to Withers, and it's a traveling violation. He tried a little up fake, and the shot clock was inside 1 second, but he traveled anyhow and turned it over.
Well, Smith is a guy, you can be on him the whole game. You can really make things difficult for him, and he's going to make tough shots. That was relatively easy, and that the second one comes off an offensive rebound, and that is a real great opportunity for a three-point shooter. The defense has collapsed inside to try to get the rebound, and your guy throws it out to you. You have a wide open look.
He's been so special coming off that freshman record, 96 threes, an NC State freshman record last year. Now a nice pass inside the court, and a foul.
Where Curry was behind that play, he picks up his third personal foul. You just got to let this one go. A really nice job by Smith. He's drawn a lot of attention. Curry's coming over to help. He's late. And if you're Curry, you just let this one go. Curry's going to have to leave the game now. He's got 3 fouls.
So that's big right there. But how about Smith and what he's also done to improve his game, the assist category, right? 67 last year, all of last year. He had 71 coming into the game here tonight, has 2, so 73 total. Nice feed inside, and it helps put NC State up 42-33.
Well, he went through that NBA process, that draft process this summer, and they told him, you have to bulk up. We know you can score. You have to show you can set up your teammates. Now, you look at his legs, you don't think he's bulked up very much, but he's got a lot more muscle tone in those arms and shoulders than he did last year. So he's following their advice, and it's been really good for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, a lot of season left to continue how he can get his teammates involved. And losing the handle, Brandon Huntley Hatfield out of bounds on the baseline. Takes us to our first time out of the second half, but NC State is on a run, a 9-0 run to lead it here, 42-33 in the second half. Let's go around the ACC here, Dan. How good has Miami been so far this year?
Well, Miami's been dynamite. Everybody talks about their backcourt, Wong and Pack, but Jordan Miller's had an outstanding season for them so far. In North Carolina, the Tar Heels are really good. They lost 4 games in a row, but now they're on a 4-game winning streak. In Virginia, after starting the season with 8 straight wins, they've lost 2 straight. Now, they haven't lost them to bad teams,
right,
but the Cavaliers have struggled offensively, and if they don't score effectively, then they are going to struggle.
Here's what happened Tuesday. You were at the Wake Forest game. You were doing that one on TV. I was doing the Syracuse Pitt game. It came down to be a pretty good game there at the end.
Well, Wake played very well, and Duke struggled a little bit. And again, we've talked about the Pitt Panthers before. They're one of the teams that has been a surprise so far here early in this ACC season. You know, it's funny, who before the season would have predicted that you'd have Clemson at 2-0 and Pitt at 2-0 and Miami at 3-0 on top of the conference.
Right. Pitt was up by 20 at one point against Syracuse on Tuesday, and they held on to win it. Here's a turnover, and Bird's just going to be called a foul as Hersey Miller just took it right into him.
Well, Burns just couldn't catch up. Now, he tried, and that's 2 fouls on Burns. You know, again, he's out there smiling. He's got such a great disposition. He's a competitor. It's not like he doesn't compete really hard, but he just enjoys what he's doing. He just couldn't catch Miller.
Big asset to this NC State team, no doubt. Miller at the line. Cardinals 7 for 11 now at the stripe.
Well, Louisville, they've been to the line in this half, and which is why they've only got 2 field goal attempts. But so far in this half, they have 1 basket against 3 turnovers. Now, that's not going to count as a turnover, but that's like a turnover.
Empty possession there. Morcell got the rebound here. are the Wolfpack. Smith, he's hit 2 threes in a row.
Back to the zone and the trap.
Clark finds Joyner wide open for 3. Clark tips it back. Smith for the 3 ball. Looks good.
That's the second time in a row off an offensive rebound. He's been all alone for a 3. That is a great tap back by Clark.
You and I had the best look at it right in front of us. Good rotation. He nailed it, and now a foul is called on Joyner. That's going to be the 3rd on Jarkel Joyner for NC State.
And they just, staff just told Kevin Keats that that's 3 fouls on Joyner.
And he's got L.J. Thomas up off the bench. Going to check in for him at the next whistle. Brandon Huntley Hatfield. Knocked out. It's off his leg.
You know, I'm telling you, you get there at the top of the key and you see Burns in front and you think, okay, I'm just going to dribble past him. But you can't. Even at his size, he moves his feet very well. He did a nice job staying between Huntley Hatfield and the basket. Got a little help from his teammates, and the result is a turnover. And a big grin. But the big grin is a constant thing.
That's huge. You still got it right now. Smart player defensively, too. Also stays on the floor, too. You know, you can't really get him too much on the fakes.
I don't think he gets off the floor very high.
You're right. Here he is on the offensive end.
And that ball goes up there so softly, you think it's coming off, but it doesn't.
This game was tied at 33, and it's now a 14-point lead for NC State. The run continues over the last 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Scoring drought of 3:45 and ticking for the Cardinals. Up fake. Shot clock. And here is Clark.
Now NC State's going to push it.
Morcell. That's a 3. And it's starting to get away from Louisville. Timeout. Kenny Payne. Eight of 19 from 3-point range are the Wolfpack. And Morcell, 4 of 5 from beyond the arc. The lead, 17. All of a sudden, the second half, and NC State firing from deep down.
Well, NC State struggled to shoot the 3 in the first half. They're 4 for 7 here in the second half. Smith has 3 of them. A couple of them coming on after offensive rebounds. And Casey Morcell, hey, he's continued his hot streak. And who passed him that ball? It was Smith. Smith, you know, even though he's hot, he's not looking solely for his shot. He made a nice cross-court pass, set up his teammate. Look at this. The shooting plays a big factor in basketball, folks. And they started the game very slowly, but since they've been very, very hot, have the pack.
Well, it's kind of contagious, too, right? Because you got Morcell, who was hot to begin the game from three-point land, and then all of a sudden, as you said, Smith got into the act, and then Morcell hit it again. I mean, it was a nip-and-tuck game. No one had led by more than 5 points. We had 4 ties, and then all of a sudden here, it's been a 17-0 run by NC State. Ellis, no, foul is called. It's on Smith, that's his 3rd.
And that, again, that's a foul that's created. Smith is in great position. If he just controls his hands, he's right there, and he drops that arm. If he doesn't drop that arm, it's not going to be a foul. You know, you just move your feet, keep your body in front of a player, force him to take a tough shot. Don't bail him out fouling him.
Maybe a little bit of a push-off, though, there, too, as well from Ellis, but he hits the first free throw. Finally, they get back on the scoreboard. Next Friday afternoon, college basketball triple header for you, and it's going to begin with North Carolina, who we've been talking about. They've won 4 in a row, and Pittsburgh is 2-0 in the ACC after that win against Syracuse on Tuesday. Coming up Friday, December 30th, we'll have it for you here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Should be a really good one there at the Peterson Event Center. You were talking about it. Jeff Capel really starting to get things going for Pittsburgh this season, and we'll see what happens in that one.
Well, it'll be interesting. Armando Bacot is playing very, very well all of a sudden. Not that he has been playing poorly, but he's playing really well for North Carolina. He will be a matchup problem for the Panthers, but then again, he's a matchup problem for everybody.
Clark, Morcell, he was spotting up, he was ready.
Not only was he ready, Mike, but that was a great pass, a cross-court pass that dropped right into his shooting pocket. He didn't have to drop down to get it and change his position.
That's just great team basketball by NC State, recognizing where your guys are, your shooters, your hot hand. 5 of 6 from three-point range is Morsell.
Well, Morsell that time, they're scrambling around on defense, putting great pressure on Louisville. Now Morsell picks up his third personal foul. So, I mean, we've got 12 minutes and 40 seconds left in this game. Joyner has 3 fouls, Smith has 3 fouls, Morsell has 3 fouls.
Could become a factor, never know, but it's a sizable lead now for NC State. They've built up enough goodwill here with 12:40 remaining. The defense has been strong. Ellis fighting forward to try to keep it. Want to get a timeout, but he didn't have the ball. And now Smith's got it, he's fouled. That doesn't count. This crowd has been energized here tonight from PNC Arena.
Boy, NC State, they've really ratcheted up the intensity on this pressure. Nice job by Thomas. He stops Ellis and then gets the ball away from Ellis. He's trying to call the timeout, as you mentioned, but he didn't have the basketball.
Mike James with his second personal foul for Louisville. Smith getting inside. There's another foul. J.J. Traynor.
That's just, that foul is caused by good ball movement and good player movement. And Smith just really finding Dewana on the inside and forcing Traynor to come over the back.
This Wolfpack team has a lot of weapons, and they're confident with each other's ability out there.
Well, I think the emergence of Burns after the injury has really has made this a different team. Now, they're going to be really happy when they get Mohorčić back in the middle of January, but Burns is a guy who really gives them some stuff on the inside, and I think makes that outside game even better.
Kick to the corner, it's a 3. Thomas, he follows his own shot. And a block inside. Devin Reed that time for Louisville.
There's a lot of red shirts, so maybe he could have found a teammate.
What about trying to get this guy back involved against Sid Curry? And he's got it with a foul. So he has been quiet for quite some time here.
Well, he's been quiet because he's been on the bench. He's been in foul trouble. But again, this is a situation, they take the help away. There's nobody to help Dewana, and Curry's big and strong. Nice spin move past Dewana. Curry, they list him at 270 pounds. He's probably bigger than that.
Looking for his 10th point of the night, and he's got it. 17th foul committed by NC State here, so it'll be free throws the rest of the way if you're Louisville, and at the line, though, tonight, they're 10 of 15. Smith, another kick, and it's Clark. He's wide open, and he drains it for 3.
Well, we've been talking about he doesn't have not a very high percentage three-point shooter, but he made that one. He's got 8 now. He's made some big contributions tonight.
And it's 4 different players for NC State that have knocked down 3-pointers in this game. 6 different players have taken a 3. And now spinning into the lane is James, and he lost it. Morsell's got it.
I think Dewana got a hand on that ball.
NC State has hit 5 of their last 7 from the field. Clark again wide open.
Well, he made the last one, but again, he's a 23% three-point shooter.
You got to put that up when you got that.
Well, yes, you do. You just made one. You have to put it up. Your team's way ahead.
9 minutes gone by, second half. Ellis, he puts up the 3. Oh, nice offensive rebound. Brandon Huntley Hatfield count the basket, and he was fouled. And he'll shoot the free throw when we return. 10:59 to play in the contest, but NC State knocking down the 3 balls. Clark, the latest to get into the act. They are 10 from 23 from deep. Back in Raleigh, North Carolina. Let's take a look at the standings here. Top 8 right now in the ACC in the early going.
Well, the interesting thing is we talked about the fact that it's Miami, Clemson, and Pitt up at the top. How about Florida State? They're 2-1 in the Atlantic Coast Conference. North Carolina State, of course, is 0-2, but again, it's very early, and what you're trying to do is get on a little bit of a roll here. Everybody except Louisville, from now on, it's strictly ACC play. Louisville's got Kentucky coming up, but this is where, you get going. Louisville 0-2, and Wake Forest with a big win the other night. And the Wolfpack, they've lost 2. We mentioned they felt they didn't play well against Pitt, but Pitt's much improved, and they felt like they let one maybe slip away against Miami. But Miami's awfully good. It's easy to let one slip away against them.
I was just going to say, they are very, very good. And here Louisville has left some points at the free throw line, 10 of 16 tonight. Brandon Huntley-Hatfield with 9 points. He's got a game-high 8 rebounds.
And Louisville's been to the line in the second half, and so that's hurt them, along with the fact that in this half, North Carolina State has 4 offensive rebounds, and they forced 6 turnovers. So that's 10 extra possessions for the Wolfpack, and for the most part, they've converted them.
Almost another 3 by Clark. Bounce it into Mike James. Gets by Smith.
And Smith has 3 fouls. That's a smart move by Smith to just back off. He's much more important to his team than those 2 points.
Now it's got to come down to the defensive end here for Louisville. Have to get stops and back-to-back to try to get back in this thing. 14-point deficit.
Well, Louisville's defense was pretty good early in the game. We showed you NC State started out 5 for 20, and a lot of that had to do with some really aggressive defensive play by the Cards.
They've got 5 blocks in this game. Shot clock is down to 5. Here's Burns. Can he bail him out? 2 to shoot. Joyner. No. But Clark tips it back to Burns. And Burns lost the handle out of bounds off of Louisville.
Well, again, an offensive rebound. That's just what we're talking about. That's 5 offensive rebounds in this half for North Carolina State.
12 for the game. 12 to 6. Offensive rebounding advantage in favor of the Wolfpack. And there's the box out. Good job by Sidney Curry.
Smith's better be careful going in there against Curry. He could get himself hurt.
Ellis spins back into a roadblock. Here's Curry working on Burns. There it is.
Well, again, I continue to be impressed with the way Burns moves his feet, but Curry does a nice job finding the open area, and then Burns can't get back to him.
Curry with the team-high 12 points for Louisville on 5 of 7 from the field. They're trying to claw their way back. They're within 12. Burns, the high post. Over Curry, no. And it's rebounded by the Cardinals. There you go. Here's a couple of strings back-to-back here on the defensive end.
Good job. Good job by Curry.
Now Ellis.
Mismatch inside. Joyner's trying to guard Huntley-Hatfield. Huntley-Hatfield's got to get down on the block.
Gets it inside to James. James, a little turnaround off the window. 10-point game. Does NC State want a timeout here? Let's see.
Well, Mike James is taking Smith down on the inside. It's an 8-0 run now for the Cards. And yes, they're going to take timeout.
And so Kevin Keats and company will talk it over here. The lead is down to 10. 8:22 still remaining in the contest. Wolfpack was up 56-38, an 18-point lead. It's now down to 10 as Louisville's on an 8-0 run. How have they done it, Dan?
Well, and I think this foul trouble is an important part of it. NC State has backed off a little bit on the defensive pressure because of the foul problems. And Casey Morsell with 4 fouls, that's a really important number. He's got 15 points and 6 rebounds in the game. He's been absolutely crucial for Kevin Keats and his guys tonight.
He leads all scorers in this contest with a 15, as you mentioned. Now let's see what happens here on this possession. Joyner. Clark, Smith, Burns, and Thomas, the 5 on the floor for the Wolfpack. Into Burns. Shot clock inside 10. Burns against Curry. That's been the matchup all night. He's got it. Oh, what a tough fadeaway off the window. And 12 points tonight for the big guy, Burns.
You just can't keep him out of there. And he's trying to go to that left hand. And you know he's going to that left hand, but you can't stop it.
Ellis thought about the 3. Mid lane runner not there. And Burns cleans it up.
Really good outlet pass by Burns. NC State's going to slow it down, but they had the opportunity to get down the court.
6 rebounds for Burns tonight. Ties his teammate Morsell for the team high. Oh, inside Clark. Blocked and foul.
Just the old, that's just old style basketball right there. You give and go. So we talked about Burns and his ability to worm his way, wiggle around there in the post. That's a perfect example. And then we talked about what a good passer is. Catches the ball, Clark cuts to the basket, he finds him in there, and he draws the foul.
2 excellent plays right there, highlighting his game as you just described. Brandon Huntley Hatfield with a foul, his first. Here's Burns' numbers tonight.
So he's so effective, 6 for 8. He just doesn't take bad shots on the inside. And again, he is definitely a below the rim kind of player, but he's really effective.
Early on, how do you think he's going to match up against some of the other teams in the ACC as conference play moves along and into the new year?
I think he'll match up very well. You know, it's going to be, even if you've got tremendous quickness and agility on the inside, he has shown me tonight that he can move pretty well. You know, obviously he's going to have struggles. Everybody does, but I'm really impressed with him.
Ellis goes up against Burns, and Burns going to be called with a foul.
Well, now Burns kept Ellis away from the basket. He stayed between Ellis and the basket, but Ellis get down in there, and I'm telling you, that's like bouncing off a wall. But that's 3 fouls on Burns. Watch Burns move his feet. Moves his feet. He moves into Ellis. If he just kept moving laterally, he would have been fine. But at the last minute, he moves into Ellis, and that was the foul.
Ellis has 1 more. He's got 11 points. Coming up Christmas morning, 7 a.m. Eastern. Holiday special of all ACC right here on the ACC Network on the ESPN app. Ellis knocks down both shots, and we've got a 12-point game with an even 7 minutes remaining tonight from PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina.
And 7 minutes is a lot of time, particularly with the foul trouble facing North Carolina State. You don't want to get conservative here if you're the Wolfpack.
Burns against Curry. What do we got here? Cut the basket and a foul. Curry picks up the foul, his 4th.
You know, he doesn't usually go into the lane from that side. If he's on the other side of the lane and he's trying to go to his left hand, and Curry plays him as if he's going to go back into the lane. That's just a really nice one. Curry pushing him in there and finally gets called for. But what a great job by Burns to keep his pivot foot and keep his balance.
I was just going to say, just so in control of his body right there, and not a bunch of wild moves. I mean, and he's got that little fadeaway able to go down too. He's 6'9", 275. Played ball at Winthrop before coming here now to NC State. And as he tried to get in front of Curry, who misses the jam. It goes out of bounds. And Kenny Payne not having it.
He's going to get a technical if he's not careful.
Yeah, Danny Manning's going to try to contain him, but it's too late. Technical foul on Louisville head coach Kenny Payne.
I think what he was upset about is they gave that ball to North Carolina State, and he felt like Burns got a hand on it on the blocked shot.
Let's go back to it.
This is a really good pass up ahead, but look how Burns recovers. Burns never touched that ball.
He just clanged it off the rim. And it careened out of bounds. Here we go again.
I don't think Burns ever touches this.
Or is he upset he want a foul? You know, one or the other, but either way, it's...
Again, Burns is not going to, like, rise up and swat that one away. What did Burns? Maybe you could get a small phone book underneath him.
You had mentioned that earlier. You said, well... Smith to the hole. That doesn't go. And Brendan Huntley Hatfield has it.
Still a lot of time left.
Ellis. That's a travel.
Ellis is trying to do too much right now. That's 16 turnovers for Louisville.
his 4th turnover of the night, and
he's just trying to make it happen.
I agree with you. I mean, but it goes back to the point of you got to get someone else out there who's going to be able to kind of step up and be a scorer. I mean, Curry has 12 points tonight. Look at that, alley-oop Clark.
What a pass! What a pass! I don't even know how he saw that.
Smith throwing it up top.
He's got 5 assists now.
Curry. It's inside for Louisville.
That's a nice job, but Burns has some fouls. You need to go at him.
It's asking so much of this Cardinals team, night in and night out, it seems. Over the last 3 games, they've won 2 of the last 3, but they have to come back from these lofty double-digit deficits. Ellis, count it. And the foul, that'll help.
See, Ellis feels like he's got to make that kind of a play. And that was an outstanding play, but if you're going to make that kind of a play, then sometimes you're going to turn it over, and that's been part of his problem. This is really a heck of a pass. But Ellis, this is what Ellis can do. He is so quick. He is so fast with the basketball. This is a great spin. I mean, he's got Clark falling down. I mean, Clark, he got the foul called on him, and you know, you want to get your money's worth on a foul, but Clark just stumbled into him because he was falling down.
He converts a 3-point play for 15 points tonight. The senior from Durham, right up the road. Playing in front of a lot of family and friends here now, and Louisville trying to make the comeback. James got it.
And a foul.
And a foul, yes.
So Thomas, if you're going to challenge that play, challenge it. Make sure the guy doesn't get the ball up on the board. And if you're not going to challenge it, just get out of the way.
That's his 2nd foul.
So Thomas throws the ball away. Nice recovery by Huntley Hatfield. And this, now if you're Thomas, you just get out of the way.
Right, I mean, it was a 4-on-1.
Yeah, it's... You know, I have to say, Louisville has had every chance in this game to quit, and they simply haven't done it.
Free throws, though, they've left 7 on the board, 13-20. And it's an 11-point game. Another nice feed. Burns avoids the pressure, then he gets hit, he scores it.
Well, he's got to avoid the pressure because he's not going to go up and dunk it. And so he's got to let the guys fly by so he can shoot a layup. This is really a good pass. You notice he lets them fly by, and then up he goes.
We're going to have a vertical jump contest between you and DJ Burns.
Well, I tell you, DJ Burns is going to win.
Oh, okay. Now he's able to get some ups.
Well, I have absolute. I'm subterranean. I have downs. Okay. So, 10-second violation. And there wasn't that much pressure. They just were too slow. Well, you climb back in, and you climb back in, you fight your way, and then, you know, you turn it over, you get a 10-second violation.
17 turnovers. It's what's plagued Louisville this season. Burns had a season high 18 versus Vanderbilt. He's got 17 tonight. Cardinals rip this one away as James has it. Still time here. 4:20 remaining. 13-point deficit.
That's a good place to go with the ball.
Yeah, Curry. Up and under. Well, they've had a few and ones here and almost got this one again. He's going to be fouled. And
that's Burns. Or did they? No, or did they call that on Morse? No, they called it on Thomas. Boy, that's a break. That's 3 on Thomas, but it's not 4 on Burns. It's not 5 on Morcell.
Hey, if they can extend this game a little bit, you know. I mean, we got 4 players with 3 fouls for NC State. Morcell's got 4. Crowd doing their best to distract, and
the reason they're doing their best to distract is they have a promotion here. If an opposing player in the last 8 minutes of the game misses 2 consecutive free throws, then everybody in the place gets a biscuit from Bojangles.
No, it's a chicken biscuit from Chick-fil-A, and that's going to be the case as he misses the second free throw.
Chicken.
So the fans are fired up.
You know, it's nice to win, but they want that biscuit.
Right. Landis for three. No, that's tipped out of bounds by Mike James of Louisville.
That's a ridiculous promotion.
It's happened both times I've been here, so the fans going nuts. 13-point lead for NC State. We'll be back. Welcome back. Here's a look at what the Wolfpack Stars have done here tonight.
Well, Casey Morsell is the guy who put up the big numbers in the first half. DJ Burns has been consistent throughout the game. It was he and Morsell that kept him in the game in the first half. And then Quavion Smith has gotten rolling here in the second. And don't forget about Jack Clark. Jack Clark has 12 points. He's got 6 rebounds. He's got 6 assists.
This was a 31-28 game at the half in favor of NC State. We were tied at 33, and then it was just a monster run that the Wolfpack went on. They went up 50-33. It was a 17-0 run. That has put Louisville at bay, and they've been struggling to try to come back here and cut it into single digits as Morsell puts up another big three. If he gets it, no. Rebound, Louisville, and Fabio Basili, who's in, the freshman from Orlando, Florida. 3-point shooting first half for NC State, 4 of 12. Second half now, 6 of 14.
You can't afford to fool around here. You got to get going. You got to get things done quickly.
Ellis bounces it in. James on Smith. James got it.
That's really good to get him down low. He's got 10 points now. And, you know, Smith doesn't want to foul him to get that isolation down in the low post. James can be a very effective post-up guy.
What are you thinking here in this offensive set?
Well, what they're going to have to do, you avoid the trap, and obviously they want to run some time, but you don't want to get conservative. And a lot of times in these games, once you take your foot off the gas, it's hard to get the car re-engaged again.
Basili with a foul for Louisville. That is now the 17th foul. So 1-1 here for Jarkel Joyner.
On defense, if you're Louisville, you got to do something to speed up North Carolina State, but that's going to be hard with the backcourt that the Wolfpack possesses. Now you got to move.
Ellis trying to create. A little too strong. And it went right into the hands of Clark.
Clark is always around the ball, rebounding. NC State content to just run as much time as possible. Sure. Kevin Keats telling Smith, go back. Not yet.
10 to shoot, 2:15 to play in the game. Lead is 11. Joyner takes it in strong. Oh, man.
What a play that was. See, it's awfully hard. They run the clock down. They got a lot of guys who can create something at the end of the shot clock.
That's a big one right there. Brandon Huntley Hatfield hands off for Curry. Under 2 minutes to go. Got it knocked away by Burns. Got it back. Back to Huntley Hatfield. Strip and a foul. It's going to be on Morsell, and that's going to be it for him. He has fouled out.
Boy, Joyner so fast. And what body control. I mean, Curry hit him.
Right.
Or he hit Curry. And is still able to do it. And then Morsell just reaching in.
What a shooting night, though, from Morsell. Has possibly done enough to will NC State to victory in this one with 15 points, 5 of 9 from the field, but 5 of 7 from 3-point range.
Well, all of his field goals, all of his points came from beyond the arc.
Yep. Second leading scorer tonight behind his teammate Burns, who has 17 to lead all scorers.
But Morsell is another guy. He also had 6 rebounds. He had a steal as well.
You know, you had mentioned this earlier about these guys like Morsell, who's the team's best defender. He's worked hard on his jump shot. He shoots the three-pointer well. He does a lot of other things to help this team, as you saw tonight. A guy like Smith, who's worked on his assist game and his teammates involved. Everybody seems to try to improve and refine their game a little bit here. This is how far NC State's going to go this year.
This is a team, you just look at them, you watch them play. They seem to enjoy one another. They seem to enjoy playing together. And, you know, it's a long season. They started out 0-2. They've got a lot of tough games. Obviously, as they get through here to the end of the year and then in January and February, you just never know how things are going to go. But this is a group of guys that looks like they're going to enjoy doing it.
Vasily with a second foul for Louisville. This guy is so fun to watch. Smith, Terquavian Smith. Can't hit the front half of the 1-and-1. Brandon Hatfield. Up for Percy Miller.
Neither team's bench has scored any points in the second half.
Curry got it.
Curry, he's been playing very well. He's got 16 points in the game now.
Time, though, becoming a factor here with 1:25 remaining.
We kept saying there's a lot of time. Well, there's not a lot of time.
Elliott Clark. Yeah, he's fouled hard by Curry. And that's going to be it.
Curry's going to be done.
Yeah, Sid Curry tonight. And he has worked so hard on his game, too. And especially over the last couple of weeks, he's lost 10 pounds, starting to eat much better, getting his body in better game shape. And, Coach Kenny Payne told us, and he's been on him, and he calls him every night at 1:30 in the morning just to say, you're sticking with it, right? Just keep on it for me.
Well, now, if my coach called me at 1:30 in the morning, I asked him what the heck he's doing.
Well, coach is still up. I asked him that. So Kenny Payne,
well, I wouldn't be up.
He's still up. Right. He said it's one of his last calls of the night. And then I asked Curry, I'm like, well, are you sleeping? And, sometimes he is, sometimes he isn't. But he's like, no, I'm happy. I'm happy to get the call.
Well, the interesting thing about that whole story is Kenny Payne didn't go to Curry and say, hey, you need to lose weight. Curry went to Kenny Payne and said, Coach, I'm really struggling. What do I need to do? And Kenny Payne told him, well, I think you need to lose some weight. Are you willing to go on a diet? And he was.
And it's worked out. We've seen some amazing fans across the ACC. We need your help this winter. ACC Network wants to experience each sport from your perspective. Snap a pic, tag a video. Take a video and tag it with the hashtag #AllTheDevotion and post it to your social media. You just might see it on the ACC Network.
So now the Wolfpack is going to show some pressure, and this is just to try to force Louisville to run some time off the clock. They barely got it over again.
Yeah, I think it's a good move. I mean, why let him just walk it up, right? Here's an inside play for Brandon Huntley Hatfield. He's got 12.
He's got a double-double now because he's got 11 rebounds as well.
Solid night for him. But it was that run by NC State in this second half, a 17-0 run that put it out of reach for Louisville. Fighting and clawing their way back into it, but doesn't look like it's going to be enough tonight.
And the interesting thing about that 17-0 run to me is it was keyed by Terquavian Smith. He hit a couple of threes. He hit that first and we said, look out, he can make a couple, and he made two more in a row, and that sort of got the ball rolling for North Carolina State. And, for Louisville, the Cardinals, I thought, played very aggressively. I thought that they were right in the game, but once that snowball started down the hill, it was just very hard to stop. Curry on the bench with 5 fouls. We mentioned he had 16 points. A game effort by Louisville. They just didn't have enough.
Burns gets a nice ovation from the fans here tonight. As Joyner hits the free throw. All 5 starters in double figures. How about that? You had Burns leading the way with 17. Morcell 15. 14 for Joyner and Clark. And Clark and Smith with 14. Joyner with 11.
Well, this is a dynamic backcourt. Burns really gives him something on the inside.
Inside bucket scored by Percy Miller for Louisville. It's a 10-point game with just 28.8 remaining. And it's big for NC State, as you were talking about at the start of the broadcast, and there's going to be a foul here on James coming up the floor. They have played well this year. I mean, they're 10-3. You just didn't want to start 0-3 in conference play, right? It just kind of looks.
Well, and this game was more important than that because NC State, they won 10 of their 11 non-conference games. The games they lost were to Pitt and to Miami, that are both they're decent net teams. NC State is number 42 in the net today, And the problem with a game like this is NC State, their net is going to drop after this win because Louisville is like 340 something.
Right.
And so this is a game that would have been a disaster for North Carolina State to lose. You just can't lose to a team at home with the net that bad. And you look here, there's Pitt at 70 in the net and Clemson up to 78. So that's a pretty good representation for the Atlantic Coast Conference in the top 100 of the net. But this is a game, and everybody who plays Louisville is going to be in this situation because of the Cardinals' struggles. Their net is like 344. You just can't. If you have any NCAA tournament hopes, you can't lose that. That's a quad 4 loss.
Well, and part of that too is how much you win by as well, and what you're expected, to win by in certain games too. So that affects that number also. Jumper on the way from Brandon Huntley Hatfield, no good. NC State gonna run it out. And the Wolfpack, as the fans from PNC Arena rise to their feet, they win it by 12 tonight. 76-64 over Louisville as Coach Keats and Payne shake hands, and NC State improves their record to 11-3 and 1-2 in the conference. Louisville drops to 2-11.
Really impressive performance, I thought, by North Carolina State. They went on that big run because they made some big shots. And this guy, Burns, how can he not be a crowd favorite?
No doubt about it. Good to see you again, Dan. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Mike.
That's all for us. For Dan Bonner, Mike Corey saying so long from Raleigh, North Carolina. Thanks for watching. The Wolfpack win it by 12. Let's head you back to the studio with Dallin Cuff and Carlos Boozer. Guys.
Thanks, Mike. Coming up on All ACC, we go back down to Raleigh. NC State, Louisville did battle. The Wolfpack prevail. We hear from the star player, DJ Burns. What's up, everybody? Welcome into All ACC. That is the deftly attired my man Carlos Boozer. I'm Dallin Cuff right now. Booze, 12-point win for NC State. What do you take away from their win against Louisville? There was a tight game early in that second half.
It was a big win. I mean, it's one of those wins where you go into on the road, don't know what's going to happen. This team's been struggling all year. Maybe you take them a little lightly in the first half. And at the same time, Louisville played well in the first half. That was probably the best first half of basketball I've seen them play all season. They had 4 guys in double figures. They had a guy with a double-double. They played well in that first half. Second half, the Wolfpack took off a little bit, had a nice cushion in the second half. 5 guys in double figures. Their guys started to get buckets easier. They got to the free throw line. Did a good job of securing a win, because that's a really tough loss to lose to Louisville on the road when you're NC State trying to make a presence on the national scale. So good win for them.
Yeah, NC State no doubt wants to get themselves into a tournament in Coach Keats' 6th year, but a loss to Louisville would hinder that a lot when you look forward to March. But that they get the win in the end. DJ Burns, he'll be joining us in a few minutes. What do you think of the big fella in his game?
I like it, man. We got nice footwork, good touch in the paint. Does a good job of commanding a presence down there. Thought he played really well tonight. He was a big key in them taking off in this lead. Obviously, one of those guys they're going to have to depend on, especially as you go to Carolina, you go to Duke, you go to Virginia, you go to Pitt. Some of these places that got some good size and length, they're going to need him to play big.
And he did just that. Now he'll be joining us. DJ, thanks for joining the program here. Congratulations on your performance there. 17 points, 8 for 10 from the field. But it was a 33-all game, and you guys ripped off a 17-0 run. What was the difference in that stretch early in the second half?
Coach Keats, he put us in. He put us in the locker room, and he said he needs you guys to play harder. We had a lot of great opportunities, but when you don't play as hard as you're supposed to be playing, you're going to miss out on them. So we just decided we were going to turn it up and give them the pressure.
It wasn't just your 17 points, but your efficiency, shooting 80%. What were you so effective in this game?
Honestly, they allowed me to get to my spots a little more. They double-teamed a little bit, but once they stopped, they allowed me to get to my spots, so I tried to take full advantage.
What do you think, whether it's the conference or the country, does not know or understand about what this Wolfpack team is capable of?
I think they still have the idea in their heads of us of last year, and we're going to make them pay for that. That's what they don't see coming. They think that this is the same old team from last year, and this is not that. So we're just going to continue to show them every time.
Well, just real quick on your upcoming schedule, you go on the road to Clemson right before the new year. You got Duke, Virginia Tech, and a rematch against Miami. Those are 3 ranked teams. What needs to improve with your squad? What needs to get better to make sure you win some of those games and send that message?
Just continuing to be consistent. I feel like this team can play with anybody in the country when we're up and at it. We just got to stay with high energy and keep going at guys and don't let them hit us first. Hit them right in the mouth as soon as the game starts.
The Mike Tyson approach. Appreciate it, DJ. Congratulations. Enjoy Christmas.
Yes, sir.
Nothing better than getting a win going into Christmas break there. They had a couple days off afterwards and then get back in action against Clemson. Let's get you the full highlight. Wolfpack work. By people in arid regions expected to win this game by 18 points. That has not been the case in 30 years in an ACC opponent for the Wolfpack. And as we mentioned, it was tied up, and then Terquavion Smith, who struggled the first half, drills a 3. And Booze, from that point on, they just piled it forward with a 17-0 run.
Yeah, they started the second half with the right message. They were getting buckets. They got offensive rebounds. You see 2 big threes right there. This team can do that. They can score in bunches.
You see Clark finishing it off, putting it up 9. He's flexing on him. They're feeling it. The crowd was getting into it. You check the replay. Helped defense a little bit late. 15 minutes to go, same score, off a missed 3. Tip back out. Best time to shoot a 3 off the offensive board, Booze.
I know you would love those back in the day, man. Offensive rebound, swing, wide open 3-point is going up.
No doubt about that. And there's DJ Burns, that feathery touch inside. Casey Morsell, he was one of the few guys making shots in the Wolfpack in the first half. He's 3 for 3, nails a triple there, and 15 on the day overall for Morsell. And again, that 17-0 run was the difference. They go on to win by 12 points.